Welcome to the Late Night Club. The world is asleep, but you're wide awake, tangled in sheets and your own thoughts. Ever noticed how the harder you try to sleep, the more your brain morphs into a chaotic DJ spinning the greatest hits of your personal failures? Yeah, that's life. A collection of paradoxes designed to mess with your head. The more you chase happiness, the more it slips through your fingers. The harder you try to fall asleep, the more awake you feel. Congratulations, you've just stumbled into the Paradox Club. No membership fee, just eternal frustration. Imagine you're lying in bed, begging your brain to shut up. But the more you demand sleep, the more your brain starts hosting a midnight talk show featuring every embarrassing thing you've ever done. The trick? Stop trying. Let sleep come to you. Sounds like bullshit, right? But surrendering is half the battle. Same goes for happiness. You don't find happiness by hunting it down like a lunatic. You stumble into it while you're busy doing other things, like walking your dog or eating pizza at 2 a.m. The paradox is simple. The things you want most come when you stop chasing them. Ever notice how the best conversations happen when you're not trying to impress anyone? Or how the best ideas pop into your head when you're in the shower, not when you're forcing yourself to be creative? That's the universe having a laugh at your expense. The secret is to get out of your own way. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. Loosen your grip, and it stays. Life works the same way. Desire is fine. It's the desperation that messes everything up. Think about love. The harder you chase someone, the faster they run. But the moment you stop trying to make them notice you, they suddenly text you back. What kind of sick cosmic joke is that? Even success works like this. People who obsess over success usually burn out or quit, but the ones who just enjoy what they do, they accidentally become great at it. The universe rewards people who forget they're trying. Patience is another paradox. The more you demand instant results, the slower everything moves. But when you trust the process, things fall into place. Ever tried to force inspiration? It hides. But take a walk, and suddenly you're a genius. Confidence works the same way. Try too hard to be cool, and you reek of desperation. But when you stop giving a shit, people suddenly think you're interesting. The whole game is rigged against trying. Even life itself is one giant paradox. The only way to truly live is to accept that you're going to die. Sounds dark, but the moment you make peace with the fact that none of this lasts forever, everything becomes more vibrant. Sunsets get prettier, laughs get louder, pizza tastes better. Maybe life isn't about winning the game, it's about learning when to stop playing. So, if you're trying too hard to sleep, relax. If you're trying too hard to be happy, let go. The universe is like a cat. Ignore it, and it'll curl up right in your lap. Chase it, and it'll flick its tail and disappear under the couch. Here's the final paradox. The less you try to be someone, the more you become yourself. You're already enough. You just need to stop proving it. Breathe. Stop trying so damn hard. Life happens when you're not looking. And if you're still awake after all this, congrats. You've officially mastered the art of doing nothing. If the universe is still keeping you up, maybe it's waiting to see if you'll finally get the joke. Or maybe you're supposed to be awake right now, thinking about all of this. Funny how that works. The universe really does have a twisted sense of humor. The moment you stop trying to figure everything out, answers start showing up like uninvited guests at a party. Ever lost your keys, searched every corner of the house, only to find them chilling in the most obvious spot the second you give up? That's life in a nutshell, hiding things in plain sight until you're too exhausted to care. And maybe that's the whole trick. Life isn't something you conquer, it's something you notice. The best moments sneak in quietly, in between all the plans and ambitions. A random smile from a stranger, sunlight hitting your face just right, the smell of coffee on a slow morning. Small things you miss when you're too busy chasing the big ones. The whole paradox is this: the more you try to pin life down, the more it slips away. But the second you stop squeezing so hard, it sits down next to you like an old friend. So maybe the point isn't to win at life, but to let life win you over. If you're still awake, congrats. You might finally be getting the joke. And the joke keeps going. Because just when you think you figured it out, life flips the script. You get what you want, only to realize it wasn't what you needed. You chase happiness, only to find out it was hiding in the shitty, ordinary moments you barely noticed. Ever walked into a room and forgotten why you're there? That's basically the whole human experience. We're all stumbling around, looking for something without knowing what the hell it is. Meaning, purpose, whatever you want to call it. Always one step ahead, always slipping through your fingers. But maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe life isn't about finding the answers. It's about getting comfortable with the not knowing, sitting in the uncertainty without trying to fix it, letting the weirdness wash over you until it feels like home. Because if there's one thing the universe loves, it's a clueless human trying to make sense of something that was never meant to make sense in the first place. So if you're still lying there at 4 a.m., brain spinning, just know you're not alone. The whole world is full of people trying to crack the same unsolvable puzzle. And the ones who get the closest, they're the ones who stop trying to solve it at all. Maybe the real secret is this: you don't have to figure it out. You just have to be here, awake, alive, and along for the ride. The universe will take care of the rest. And here's the maddest part. What if not figuring it out is the whole damn point? What if the universe is like one of those weird abstract paintings people pretend to understand? You stare at it, trying to find some hidden message, but there isn't one. The meaning isn't buried under layers of brushstrokes. It's just the fact that it exists at all. Maybe we're all standing around, squinting at life, hoping it'll spell something out. But what if it's just there? No secret code, no grand plan, just colors splattered on the canvas, waiting for us to stop analyzing and just enjoy the mess. And maybe that's why your brain keeps you up at night. Not because it wants answers, but because it knows there aren't any, and it's low-key terrified to admit it. The trick is to lean into the uncertainty. Stop fighting it. Let the questions hang in the air without rushing to pin them down. Why are we here? What does it all mean? Who the hell decided pineapples belong on pizza? You'll never figure it out, and that's exactly what makes life worth living. If there were answers, the game would be boring as hell. So next time you're wide awake, don't fight it. Let your brain wander. Let the midnight talk show roll on. It's not a bug in the system. It's the whole damn operating manual. And the weirdest, most frustrating, most beautiful paradox of all: the second you accept, you'll never know. That's when life starts to make a little bit of sense. And if you're still lying there, waiting for sleep to sweep you away, guess what? You're part of the oldest club in human history. Every philosopher, every poet, every sad bastard staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. You're all tuned into the same cosmic radio station. Static, whispers, endless questions. Maybe those nights aren't mistakes. Maybe they're the universe's way of pulling you aside and saying, "Hey, since you're up, want to know a secret?" The secret is nobody knows what they're doing. Not the people with the perfect Instagram lives. Not the gurus selling happiness in 10 easy steps. Everyone's just making it up as they go, pretending they've cracked the code when they're just as clueless as you. But here's the beautiful part. You're not supposed to know. Life's not a problem to solve. It's a dance you stumble through, trying not to step on your own feet. The insomnia, the overthinking, the weird craving for toast at 4 a.m. It's all part of the ride. The more you try to pin it down, the more it wriggles away. So stop waiting for the epiphany. Stop waiting to finally feel like you've got your shit together. No one does. And the ones who pretend to, they're the most lost of all. Maybe the real goal isn't to fall asleep or figure it all out. It's to stay awake long enough to realize none of this makes sense. And somehow, that's what makes it perfect. Now close your eyes, let the paradox wrap around you, and drift off into the great unknown. Or don't. It doesn't really matter. And if you're still awake, maybe that's okay too. Maybe some nights aren't meant for sleep. Maybe they're meant for unraveling all the thoughts you buried during the day, finally slipping out when the world goes quiet. Ever notice how the best memories hit you at night? The ones you forgot you even had. That perfect summer afternoon when everything felt right. The laugh you shared with someone you don't talk to anymore. The dumb inside joke that still makes you smile in the dark. That's your mind cleaning house, sifting through the mess, deciding what to keep and what to let go. The insomnia isn't the enemy. It's the brain's weird little filing system trying to make sense of the chaos. What if the nights you're wide awake are actually the moments you're closest to yourself? No distractions, no bullshit, just you and your own messy, brilliant mind. Maybe the universe keeps you up on purpose, to remind you you're still alive, still thinking, still searching. So let the thoughts spin, let the questions hang in the air. You're not broken. You're just awake in a world that spends most of its time asleep. And when the sun finally rises, you'll carry those quiet revelations into the noise of the day. Like little secrets the night only tells to those who listen. And maybe that's the whole trick. Learning to listen. Not to the noise, but to the silence underneath. The part of you that's always there, buried beneath deadlines and notifications, and whatever the hell everyone else thinks you're supposed to be. Night strips all that away. No filters, no small talk, just the raw, unpolished version of you. The one that wonders if you're on the right path, or if you're just faking it like everyone else. Here's the twist. Everyone's faking it. Every confident smile, every perfectly curated life. It's all just carefully rehearsed chaos. The ones who look like they have it all figured out. They're probably lying awake at night too, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the universe to give them a goddamn sign. But the universe doesn't deal in signs. It deals in whispers, tiny hints hidden in sleepless nights, and random thoughts that don't make sense until months later. You don't get to know the meaning until you're already halfway through. So if you're awake right now, don't fight it. Pay attention. Maybe you're not lost. Maybe you're just downloading the next version of yourself. The one that doesn't have to try so hard. The one that stops measuring life in milestones and starts measuring it in moments. And if none of this helps, and you're still wide awake by sunrise, well, at least you'll know you're not the only one waiting for the punchline. Maybe that's the secret no one tells you. Being awake at night isn't some cruel mistake. It's a reset. The world goes quiet so you can finally hear yourself think. Not the version of you that's trying to impress everyone. The one underneath. The weird, messy, half-formed version that doesn't know what the hell it's doing, and maybe doesn't need to. Because what if the whole point of lying awake isn't to find answers, but to feel the questions without rushing to fix them? What if the ache of not knowing is the thing that keeps you alive, keeps you reaching, even when you're not sure what you're reaching for? The universe doesn't give straight answers, because straight answers are boring. It hands you questions wrapped in confusion and waits to see what you'll make of them. And maybe the whole joke is that there's no right answer, just the act of trying, failing, and trying again. So let your brain spiral. Let the Midnight Talk show play. You're not broken. You're just awake in a world that loves to sleep through itself. And when morning comes, you'll get up, drink coffee, and play the game like everyone else. But maybe, just maybe, you'll carry a little bit of the night with you. That strange, uncomfortable stillness. That reminder that it's okay not to know. Because if you're asking the right questions, you're already halfway to whatever answer doesn't exist. And maybe that's the weirdest paradox of all. You're never closer to figuring life out than when you're completely lost. The people walking around acting like they've got it all together. They're just better at pretending. The ones staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., questioning every decision they've ever made. They're the ones paying attention. What if the whole point of being awake at night is to realize how little control you actually have? The job, the relationship, the perfect plan. You think you're steering the ship, but you're really just floating along, trying not to capsize. The sooner you admit that, the lighter everything feels. Maybe the universe keeps you up because it knows that's the only time you'll listen. Not to the bullshit stories you tell yourself during the day, the polished Instagram-friendly version, but to the small, shaky voice underneath. The one that whispers you're not supposed to have all the answers. You're just supposed to keep going. And yeah, you'll still wake up tomorrow tired as hell. You'll still scroll through your phone and pretend like none of this ever happened. But somewhere deep down, you'll know you're part of something bigger. A cosmic joke wrapped in stardust and uncertainty. The night isn't your enemy. It's your weird little teacher, showing you how to sit in the mess without trying to clean it up. So, if you're still awake, congratulations. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Lost, confused, and more alive than you realize. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Being lost is the whole point. The people who act like they've got life figured out. They're just following someone else's map. But the ones wandering without a clue, stumbling through dark rooms with no idea where they're headed, they're the ones writing their own. Maybe that's why the universe loves keeping certain minds awake at night. Not to torture them, but to crack them open, to make them question everything until they realize that there's nothing solid to hold on to. Just this spinning rock, a few borrowed years, and whatever meaning you decide to slap onto it. The real magic happens when you stop looking for the big answers and start paying attention to the small ones. The way the city sounds at 4 a.m., or how the light shifts just before dawn. Those little flickers of beauty hiding in plain sight. The kind of shit you'd miss if you were busy trying to solve the universe like some giant crossword puzzle. What if the secret to life is just noticing it? The coffee tastes better when you're not rushing. Music sounds different when you actually listen. People become interesting when you're not trying to impress them. The world opens up the second you stop trying to win it. And here's the messed up part. Once you see the paradox, you can't unsee it. It's everywhere. In happiness, love, success. Hell, even in boredom. Ever been bored out of your mind, wishing something exciting would happen? And then, the second you embrace the boredom, it weirdly starts to feel peaceful. The universe loves that trick. It's like it's waiting for you to surrender before it hands you the good stuff. Even pain works that way. The harder you try to avoid it, the more it clings to you. But when you let yourself feel it, really feel it, it starts to lose its grip. Turns out, the only way out is through. Here's another mindfuck. The whole journey to self-improvement. Same paradox. The second you accept you're a mess, you actually start changing. But if you're constantly trying to fix yourself, you're basically telling your brain you're broken. Maybe the whole secret is this. Stop trying to control everything. Life isn't a puzzle you solve. It's a wave you ride. Fight it and you drown. Go with it and somehow you float. And if you're still lying there, staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep to show up, maybe that's the universe testing you, seeing if you'll finally give up the fight. Because the second you do, that's when the magic happens.